Hello, this is Jennifer. This is a brief video on coding in the classroom. I'm first going to talk about some purposes for coding in the classroom. Then I'm going to go over two of my favorite coding sites and also leave you a list of resources that you can use to explore more yourself. So to begin, there's a lot of resources and ways that we can use coding in the classroom. If you think about that vocabulary that comes along with math or language arts or science, a lot of those terms reflect in coding. So for example, mathematics, we think about problem solving. We use a lot of different strategies such as guess and check and sequencing of events, variables. We set up algorithms. And those are the same things that we do when we're coding. We have to be problem solvers because when you code and you're putting these events in order, you're not going to be getting it right the first time all the time, and you're going to have to guess and check. Why isn't, if this doesn't work, how can I fix it? And that also corresponds with language arts. We have some vocabulary there, such as the cause and effect and sequencing of events. We have to know, well, if this happens, what's going to happen after that? What's the result? Or problem and solution. We talk about those story structures, and I also bring that into my classroom when I do coding, as we're linking that idea and showing another application of it. Also, digital storytelling is a way that we can use coding. Students can set up different scenes on their codes and their games that they make. That's more of an advanced skill, but I have some 4th and 5th graders who enjoy doing that. Personal development is actually how I implemented coding in my classroom to begin with, because we talked about challenges and perseverance, and we had an inquiry-based lesson during class meeting about coding. And of course, digital citizenship is important to remember anytime that we're online or using a device. I talk to my students about safe internet practices. On some of the sites you can publish your work, and that's open to anybody to see. And I remind my students that even if you don't think someone's seeing it, if you think you saved it or you have it private, you really should just be okay with what you put out there when you're making things, especially at school, because anybody can see that. Even if you think you delete it, when we get into that social media piece, it can still be seen, so we want to make sure that we're being safe and we're using our learning time wisely. So now I'm going to take you over to a couple different programs that I like to use. Scratch and Code.org are my favorite. I'm going to talk briefly about Codeable and Codecademy, and then I will go and show you firsthand what Scratch and Code.org are. Codeable is a website that is directed more towards the younger grades, but it can be used in older grades. I put this one on here because it has some really great lesson plans, such as vocabulary, talking about why why we're smarter than computers and how computer programs work, and it really gives you the basics, which is definitely handy. And the printable lesson plans and work pages that go along with those lessons, the students really enjoy. However, once it gets into the coding program, you have one free course, and then beyond that you have to pay. So that part is just one of the cons of Codeable. Codecademy is another great resource, but definitely geared towards older students and adults. I enjoy this one myself personally because it has a variety of coding options such as HTML and Java. So I'm going to take us over to Scratch right now. Let me move my screen up a little bit so you can see that website, and we're going to dive right in. When you first open up to Scratch, you can log in here, setting up an account. I'm already logged in as myself. When you're creating something, you're of course going to go to the Create tab. Explore and Discuss have a lot of options and tools for you. Explore is going to post more of these featured projects. Discuss is almost like a blog where there's questions that are posted and you can interact with other people throughout the world that are coding. Another piece I want to highlight on here is that there's Scratch in other languages. So it's neat that students get to see this, and even if you have ELL students or you yourself are looking to look at things in a different language, that option is here. I want to show you how to code right now though, so going to go to my Create section, and this is what you're going to get every time you open up a new window. This is your screen and your project page, When you're first starting, I highly recommend that you go to this question mark here, and you're going to open up a whole slew of tutorials. These tutorials will tell you step by step how to make these common projects. It starts with a video. Let's see, maybe we want to do a hide and seek game today. It will first start with a video. I won't play that right now because you're already watching a video, but I really encourage you to go to Scratch and you can watch these videos yourself. And then I have the option to see all the steps in a list, or I can just click start and it will take me step by step what to do here. So I'm going to do a couple of these steps with you to give you a preview of what some of the options are here. The first step that it's telling me to do is that I need to choose an animal or another sprite. So I'm going to go to this mountain picture in the corner, and it will bring up, oh, oops, I'm sorry. That is my background. I'm going to go over to my new sprite image here, and I'm going to choose some sort of animal. So I think that they had a polar bear on there. I might try and find one of them, but I want to show you that there's a lot of options. You can also click on the categories or themes. I like this bear right here. Whenever I have a new sprite, any of my characters are going to show up here. If I decide I don't want them, I can click the scissors here and cut it out, or I can say that I want this one to be invisible, and I can bring them back. I can also choose and go back and select a different background by clicking on that mountain picture I clicked on before. So maybe I want my bear to be in the woods, this castle-y woods. I'm then going to follow my steps, and it says make it hide. So in order to make it hide, it's going to tell me the different pieces I need to click on. So I'm going to go back up to scripts, and I want to be clicked on the sprite I'm trying to modify. And you'll notice that when I'm on scripts, I have all these different options: motion, sound, pen, events, control. These are what's going to tell my character what to do. So by clicking on that character I'm trying to hide, I'm then going to follow the step-by-step directions. It says first click the looks category and drag out a show and a hide block. So I'm going to click on looks. I'm going to look for show and hide. I'm just dragging them into my project space. Now I'll be able to script to hide and show. So I'm following that direction, and I clicked on the control section, and it told me to drag out 2-second blocks. So what that means is I have wait 1 second, and then I'm going to click on, whoops, I want this in the right order, I have it backwards. I want hide up on top, and then I want to add another wait 1 second block. I'm going to drag that over to my workspace, and I want them to connect. They connect just like a puzzle, so I do not have to click any other buttons. I'm just dragging them, and once they get close enough, it connects. I have it looking just like this picture here, and it says now I'm going to loop it. So click your script to run it. I'm just going to follow the next direction. So in order to get this to loop, I'm going to stay in that control section, just like it says, and drag out a forever loop. So I'm going to click this loop, and this will just hug however many pieces I have there. I want to tell this to do something. I want it to know when to start. So I'm going to go up to the events category, and I want it to start when the green flag is clicked. Your script will start whenever you click the green flag. So if I want to see my project while I'm working on it, I can go to See Project up in the corner here. And I want to see how my coding is lining up. Maybe there's a kink in it, and maybe I have to go back and fix something before I get too far. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click the green flag, and it's just going to keep popping up, going back and forth forever, because that's what I told it to do. I can add on here some instructions. So I might say, click the green flag to see the hiding bear. I might want to, maybe as I get further in this, if I add more pieces, I might say how many different animals can you find in this scene. But this is where I get to add those pieces. I want to go back and add to this, so I'm going to go back to See Inside. And here I am again, back at my project. I'm going to go back to that sprite I was working on, back to my tutorial, and I can finish it up. But now you know how to modify a project space, how to set a background, how to add a sprite, how to delete one, and how to follow the tutorials on here. All of your pieces are going to be in the script section. You can change their costumes and sounds up here. You'll add sounds by clicking on the sound tab, and it will give you choices. Whatever sounds you have recorded here or that you uploaded will be one of your choices. I only have one there, but you have these drop-down menus, and I can change that. Remember, whatever I drag over here is going to be in my code, and I have to pay attention to the directions I give it, because whatever I tell it to do, it's going to do. Just like I told this to go on forever, that's what it's doing. Before I wrap up this brief video on coding, I want to show you one other program and some resources. So I'm going to go over to code.org. Excuse me here, code.org. And we're going to see how we can use this in younger grades as well, and because Scratch is definitely directed towards some older students, or at least upper elementary. I have third graders working on it right now. I could see second graders playing with that, but below that it might be a little bit of a frustration level depending on the student. But this program is amazing. It's code.org, and it lines up with Hour of Code, if you're familiar with that. And students can go on here for free and work on coding courses. So I'm on the home page. I scroll down to this purple section, and I'm going to find a lot of resources ready at my fingertips. These different courses are sorted by age level. So I showed you some things in Scratch for the older ages. I want to show you something for kindergartners. I have a kindergarten teacher working on this right now. And this is basic coding, click and dragging, those basic steps. I just hit that I'm going to clicked on the free trial, and I'm going to hit try now. And you're going to see how this is very simple, and it's definitely something that kindergartners can do, and they are learning how to code by doing this. The first direction told me to click and drag, and it will give me a video as well, but to save time, I skipped over that. And I just finished my first part on code.org. So by clicking and dragging that, these students are getting immediate feedback, and they're learning basic coding skills. It gets more challenging each round, so now it's going to give me a new direction, and it's going to tell me to piece together two pieces. So I'm told what to do. My finger has to click on it and drag it over, and now I get to try it. So by clicking and dragging, I just completed another task. Now you've seen two different coding programs, Scratch and code.org. You've seen how to use some tools in each of them and some of the options that you have with younger students all the way through high school students. Here's a list of resources that I use frequently. I want to highlight just a couple of them as we wrap up here. Code.org we've just visited. The resources on there are phenomenal. These teaching videos have a lot of videos about internet safety and general ideas about coding, not just directed towards teachers, but also ones that you can use to share in the classroom as part of a lesson. And this Hour of Code has information about international coding competitions, and there are links for that in games on code.org, which is a great way for us to be exposing our students to different cultures and people around the world. Further, the Scratch option down here, this resource is a great one because it's a downloadable PowerPoint, and it includes workbooks that you can use in your classroom. So you can print out work pages that correspond with coding and teaching that vocabulary. So now you have seen how to use coding in the classroom. You've seen a couple different coding sites, and I encourage you to explore this, give it a shot, and please come to me if you have any questions. Thanks for listening.